I have an objection. You always say that the soul has no desire for material things. However, we had found the soul takes all the qualities, including the bad ones, with it on its eternal way, so that, for example, the craving for alcohol tortures it, even in the world beyond. Attention well paid. Let us put it more precisely. In its pure, original state, the soul does not require physical enjoyments. As opposed to that, the many animal and human bodies it has formed on its eternal path have the highest desire for material things. If you have yielded to such cravings in past existences, if the satisfaction of your animal lust has gone out of hand and went far beyond the normal measure of natural needs, this will in time be imprinted on your eternal individuality as well. Out of ignorance, lack of discipline, or because you are not listening to your heart, you accumulate in the course of your incarnations a lot of unnatural qualities around the pure core of your soul. You besmirch your higher self with unworthy thoughts, feelings, words, and acts. This will eventually become a habit and thus a part of your essence. For the alcoholic, the consumption of alcohol has passed into flesh and blood to such an extent that it has become an aspect of his inner nature, which he does not discard at death, but retains. The gold of your soul is afflicted, stained with dross that is alien to its true spiritual nature. You have consistently piled up this dirt, and now you must wash it away by arduous cleaning work. You can disfigure your soul in the same way as your body. It is meant in this sense when we say in simplified terms, it is not the soul that has material desires, but the body. Do not deceive yourself. Bringing your soul to life, becoming a disciple of the brotherhood or a king of the spirit means enforcing a spiritual reality. This is no mere honey licking. This is just as difficult and encounters as much resistance as any other attempt to realize an ideal on earth. The new man of spirit has many enemies, the dragon inside and the old man around. Now it is time to take up the fight. The wisdom of all ages teaches, within yourself, there is a tough struggle going on between two beings who both want to manifest themselves. Both fight for control over your thoughts and feelings. Both strive to enforce their will. This is the conflict between your higher, eternal, spiritual, and your lower, perishable, physical being, between the divine and the animal within you. An eternal symbol for this struggle is the battle of Archangel Michael and Saint George with the dragon. Among the most repulsive is the dragon of everyday routine. Few know how to overcome the dragon of everyday routine, but such heroes multiply their forces tenfold, and each day they raise their eyes anew unto the heavens. We have already mentioned many examples for the fact that the aspirations of your perishable personality and your eternal individuality are often diametrically opposed to one another. For example, regarding food, caring for oneself, or pleasures. When you allow the animal thoughts and feelings of your lower self to be realized, you suppress at the same time your spiritual being. The soul wants to use the body as a vehicle for its higher purposes. If this tool presumes to enforce its will, the soul cannot fulfill its mission. Does that mean the body is bad? No, of course not. It is an achievement of the evolutionary process to have produced a strong and intelligent body. It is only that at the current lowest point of the evolutionary cycle, the soul is still small and weak. It cannot hold its ground against a body that has reached the peak of its development and suppresses the soul's delicate voice. The eternal individuality is not yet able to steer the body. It cannot accomplish anything yet. It can scarcely utter its will, let alone assert itself against the much stronger power of your lower self. The mission of the immortal soul is to be the driver. When it has awakened to life, it must first of all establish its rule over the four mortal bodies, over the physical body and the bodies of thoughts, feelings, and instincts. The more it takes up this fight, the greater and stronger your eternal self will grow. A tough battle also takes place between you and the circumstances in your environment, with their demands, needs, constraints, and temptations. They initially hinder the flourishing of your soul. On this field, you are waging the war primarily by changing your attitude and using obstacles as opportunities to promote the growth of your eternal spiritual being. A baby, after birth, brings his physical body to life by learning to grasp, crawl, walk, and speak. That is, by using its powers, senses, and abilities. Likewise, we develop the body of thoughts and the body of feelings by putting them into use. You begin to think and to feel, and by exercising these skills, you refine and strengthen these two bodies. For example, in today's Homo sapiens, the brain, due to its constant use, has a much larger volume than in Homo erectus, who first rose onto two legs. Biology teaches a most important rule, which also applies to the spiritual life. It is the function that creates the organ. Take the eye as an example. First, there is a part of the skin that is more sensitive to light than other parts. As this advantage is more and more used, over time the highly complex and sophisticated organ evolves that we have today. When it is not used, the organ immediately regresses. It is no different with your eternal individuality. It awakens to its life, above all, when you take one particular step. You begin to use the abilities of your fiery body. How can that happen? What are those skills? Well, we have just spoken in detail about the most important one, the central organ of your supramundane self is the heart. It tells you infallibly how it wants you to think, feel, speak, and act. Therefore, remember, building up your being of spirit means, above all, develop your heart. You should start with that, not with reading of thoughts, telekinesis, or flying. We recognize the paramount importance of the education of the heart. Agni Yoga is the yoga of the heart. The path of Agni Yoga is through the heart. The heart does not grow in volume like the brain. It is refined when we use it. A sensitive heart captures a greater part of the hidden subtle reality. Expansion of consciousness proceeds by refinement of the heart. We find a wonderful correspondence between the knowledge of the heart and of the intellect. Our feeling tells us the education of the heart is now indispensable and urgent on the schedule of mankind if we wish to move further. And the scientific reason tells us in today's fifth race, manas, is to be developed, the knowledge of feeling, which is based, above all, on the refinement of the heart. In addition, we can generally say the abilities of your soul, which you should begin to use in order to develop them, are, on the one hand, its spiritual power, the psychic energy, and on the other hand, its inner spiritual senses. How you can strengthen your spiritual power and sharpen your spiritual senses, we shall discuss in detail in the broadcasting Shaping the Eternal Individuality.